Yo, what's up everybody? This is your boy Canadian back with another video. Today, I'm going to talk to you guys about Reebok. I'll give you guys a brief history of the brand and show you guys some of the Reebok sneakers I have in my collection. And I'll give you a review on those sneakers as well. So, if you're interested in this kind of content, please stick around and we'll be right back. Reebok was founded way back in 1895 in England when a 14-year-old boy named Joseph William Foster began designing spiked running shoes above his dad's sweet shop. In the beginning, the company was named J.W. Foster and Sons until 1958 when two of the founders' grandsons found the word Reebok in a South African dictionary. Reebok in Afrikaans is a name for a type of African antelope. In 1979, Reebok took some of his running shoes and showed them off in the Sporting Goods Show in Chicago. A man named Paul Fireman really liked their shoes and acquired the rights to sell their shoes in the US. In 1982, Reebok saw the big market in aerobics and started making shoes for that market. Reebok released a shoe that was designed specifically for aerobics, and it was called the Reebok Freestyle. It was a huge success. And due to the overwhelming success, in 1984, the US Reebok company bought out the UK company. And in 1986, they started to make all types of sporting equipment to expand their portfolio. The original Reebok logo had a British Union Jack flag next to it. I'll show you guys right here. And after entering the American market, they switched to the Vector logo, which I'll post right here as well. In 1988, Reebok was said to be the #1 athletic brand in the US and #2 in the world, behind Adidas. You couldn't go anywhere in the sporting world without seeing the big brand Reebok at that time. And in 1989, they introduced this revolutionary technology called the Reebok Pump, which is still used to this day, where you actually pump up the shoe so the padding inflates to make it a better fit on the feet. These shoes were endorsed by many NBA players, and D. Brown actually started pumping up his shoes during one of the dunk contests. Right? It was very famous all across the NBA market. I actually have a pair of those Shaq pump shoes back in Canada in my collection, but I'll show you guys a picture right here of that shoe. In the early 90s, Reebok was the biggest brand in basketball, and many players during the 90s and 2000s signed with the company. Players like Shaq, Allen Iverson, Yao Ming, just to name a few. And due to their overwhelming success in 2000, Reebok signed an exclusive deal with the NBA for 10 years, making all of the NBA's uniform and team gear. Other than the NBA, NFL also had an exclusive deal with Reebok, and Reebok made their gear as well. Right? It was involved in many other sports other than the NBA and NFL. For example, in 1996 Summer Olympics in Atlanta, 1 out of every 3 athletes was wearing Reebok. From the late 80s to the early 2000s, Reebok was everywhere in the sporting world. You couldn't go anywhere without seeing them. During the time when NBA had the exclusive deal with Reebok, their jerseys were very unique. If you had a jersey from the early 2000s, you know what I'm talking about. If I had my jersey collection from Canada, right, I will show you guys these classic jerseys. Back then, the Swingman jerseys, the ones that were stitched replicas of the real jerseys, had those big holes, mesh materials on them, right? Nowadays, all the Swingman jerseys are screen printed on polyester. To me, the ones that Reebok made were definitely much better. It was actually at least a little bit of stitching, and the material, the mesh material, felt much nicer. I really miss those classic jerseys because that was the era of basketball I grew up watching. And in my collection back in Canada, a lot of those jerseys were Reebok jerseys, right? Because I love collecting retro stuff and stuff that nobody has nowadays. Like I said before, right, Reebok also had a deal with the NFL as well. So all the jerseys and gear at that time were also made by Reebok. And you can see from the behind me here, right, these 2 NFL jerseys, they are made by Reebok. These 2 jerseys were made with the mesh material I was talking about, similar to the NBA jerseys back when Reebok made them. And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about when it comes to the mesh material. If you take a look at this jersey right here, up close, right, you see the holes on the front of the jersey and the back of the jersey, right? This material is mesh, right, and is much different than the jerseys we have nowadays. In 2005, Reebok was bought out by Adidas in a $3.8 billion deal. This was mainly because of the dominance of Nike at that point, and they started to really dominate the market. And combining Reebok with Adidas was a move to catch up to Nike. After Adidas acquired Reebok, however, right, that was the point where Reebok started to fall. Adidas mainly focused on its own brand and kind of left Reebok in the back. Like I said before, right, in 2000, Reebok signed a 10-year exclusive deal with the NBA to sell their gear and jerseys. However, after Reebok took over the company in 2006, the year after Adidas took over, right, Adidas signed a new contract for 11 years to sell the NBA gear and jerseys and took Reebok out of the deal. Now, looking back, right, that deal with Adidas and Reebok, for Reebok, that was not a good deal at all. Adidas really left them behind and started developing their own brand. In 2014, Reebok changed its logo once again to this delta symbol, the one that you can see on my hoodie here, right? To symbolize their focus to become a fitness brand and no longer sporting and fashion brand. This was kind of another move made by Adidas, who wanted to focus on the sporting world, so they pushed Reebok back. Now, again, like I said, I bet Reebok really regrets selling the company to Adidas, right? In June of 2019, Shaq, who was a big star with Reebok back in the days, expressed interest in buying Reebok because he really doesn't like how Adidas has diluted the brand so much that Reebok is almost out of the market. But this really never turned into anything. Okay, now, after talking about the brief history of Reebok, let me show you guys the 10 pairs of Reebok sneakers I have in my collection with me here. Most of these shoes are throwback shoes to the early to mid 2000s when Reebok was huge in the NBA market. The first two pairs of shoes I'll show you are Yao Ming shoes that was with collaboration with Reebok. If you have seen my videos on Yao Ming before, then you already seen one of these shoes. I'll give you a more detailed look at these shoes. The first pair are these Reebok Hexaride sneakers made for Yao Ming. The Hexaride technology was designed so athletes felt like they were walking on air while wearing these shoes. And obviously, this technology has changed significantly over time. And the pair I have here is not as comfortable as the newer models, but it's still a very good shoe for its time. So let's take a look at these shoes. I do apologize for the plastic wrapping because it is a very old shoe. So if I don't wrap it up, it might fall apart. It's got an all-white upper, as you can see, right, with hints in red and black, which is the Houston Rocket colorway, and the team Yao Ming was playing on for most of his career. Fun fact, NBA had a very strict shoe policy up until 2018. Before that, players were only allowed to wear shoes that were black, white, or their team colors, or else they would be fined. That's why shoes from that era you'll see that players wore were mainly their team colorways. There's no crazy colors of shoes that they used to wear. Okay, anyways, back to the shoe. You can see it has a Reebok logo on the side here and a Yao logo, right, close to the lining of the shoe. On the bottom, you can see the Hexarite technology. It looks like beehives. If you press on it like this, right, it's pretty soft and bouncy. And in the middle, I'm not sure if you can see that, right, it has a ventilation portal for the sweat and heat to leave the shoe. It's also got that pump technology I was talking about before, right? And it probably doesn't work anymore since this shoe is like about 15 years old. Now, the second pair of shoes I'm going to show you are these Reebok ATR, which is short for Above the Rim Elite KFS Dragons, which was made for Yao Ming for the 2008 All-Star Game. These shoes has very good ventilation and cushioning and ankle support. So back in 2008, they were very comfortable to play in. The materials inside really wicks away the sweat and was pretty revolutionary before the days of Adidas Climacool or Nike Mesh. As you can see, right, at the back here, right, there's a almost 360 degree of ventilation system, right? Sorry for the plastic wrapping. I really don't want to take these off for these shoes, but you can kind of see it, right? It really takes away all the heat and sweat from the shoe. And you can see the upper of the shoe, right? The all-white upper with the dragon design, right? It's mostly a pretty simple shoe. And the shoe is pretty heavy compared to the shoes that we have on the basketball court nowadays. The third pair of shoes I'll show you guys are these Reebok Iverson Legacies. These shoes were designed based off 3 of Iverson's signature shoes. The questions, the answers 1, and the answers 3. This is a high-top basketball sneaker made with patent leather. You can see most of it is patent leather, and uses the Reebok DMX cushioning system, which you can see at the bottom here as well. It has very good court grip and bouncy cushioning, so playing them is very comfortable. But it doesn't have much ventilation like the 2 shoes I showed you before. And putting them on can be a pain because of its design. Why is it a pain to put them on? You can see from the lace cover, right? You can't really adjust the lace as much. So when you put it on, it is really stiff. As you can see, it's mainly black, right, with hints of red. And the Iverson logo right here and the Reebok logo here. And on the bottom of the shoe, you can also see another Iverson logo right here. And you can see it has Iverson written across the lace cover here, right? This shoe is pretty cool, right? Overall, it's a great looking shoe that pays tribute to Iverson's overall career. The 4th pair of shoes I'll show you guys are these Reebok Questions. This is one of Reebok's most iconic shoe models, and also made famous by Allen Iverson. These shoes were made for Iverson's rookie season, and he had a lot of iconic highlights while wearing these shoes. The pair I have here is in the Lakers yellow and purple colorway. It has very good ankle support, and it's very light and bouncy. It's definitely a great pair to wear to play basketball in. It's actually pretty comparable to shoes that players wear nowadays, even though this was released back in 1996. There's not much else I need to say about these shoes because most people know these shoes pretty well. You'll see them everywhere. That on the NBA court, off the court, people love wearing these shoes. All right, the next pair I'll show you guys are these Reebok Smooth Fit High Tops. There's not a lot of information on these shoes because they were not a very hype sneaker. But I'll just give you guys a quick review on these shoes. It's got a pretty solid upper, so when you first wear them, it can be very stiff. It takes some time to break them in. It's got a pretty good ventilation system though. You can see at the side, all this is ventilation, right? It really takes all the heat and sweat out of the shoe. And it's got very good ankle support, right? Because it's a high top, so it supports the ankles very well. It really holds it in place because also the shoe is very stiff. And this shoe also in the red and black colorway. Again, you can see from the material, very, very stiff looking shoe. But after wearing a few times, it becomes looser and it's a good fit for the feet. Okay, moving on. We have the next pair of shoes. The Reebok Shaqnosis in the Hot Ones colorway. If you know Reebok, then you definitely have seen these shoes before. This is a very iconic design made by Shaq, right, during his deal with the Reebok. The original version was released in 1996 and became an icon both on and off the court. And as you can see, right, the upper has half circles going across it. This shoe is called the Shaqnosis because it's designed like what you see when hypnosis happens. And this shoe is actually surprisingly light considering how bulky it looks, right? The bottom also has the Reebok Hexarite technology. I don't know if you can see that, right? It's all inside of here. It has the same technology that Reebok used for many of its shoes. And this shoe's colorway is called Hot Ones because it's based off the YouTube shoe show Hot Ones with Sean Evans. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend that show. It's actually very interesting. Sean Evans sits down with many different celebrities, and while they eat crazy spicy wings, they talk about very interesting topics. And the shoe's colorway goes from mild to very, very spicy, just like the show, right? It kind of transitions. Very interesting. And you can see at the back here, right, there is the Hot Ones logo, a dead chicken. And on the tongue of the shoe as well, right, you see another logo for the shoe, a hot pepper, right? Very cool colorway. Okay, now moving on. I have another pair of classic Reebok shoes, right? The Reebok Kamikaze in the alternate Sonics colorway. This is another one of Reebok's very iconic shoe designs, and it was made for NBA star Shawn Kemp, who played most of his career with the Seattle Supersonics, which the team no longer exists. Again, this shoe is pretty light despite its looks, and it has very good ankle support because it's a high top, right? It also has the Hexarite technology at the bottom here. You can see, right? Very, very soft, and you can, if you press on it, again, very, very bouncy. Yeah, this shoe was named after the aggressive style Kemp used to play with, and the design on the upper shows that high energy kind of style. Reebok is actually changing the name of these shoes to Hirakazis, like a hurricane, right? Due to the original name being tied with Japanese pilots in the World War II, and some people being offended by its name. But in my opinion, I don't care what they change the name to for this shoe. It's always going to be known as the Kamikazes. And the colorway of these shoes is called alternate Sonics because it represents the alternate jersey that the Sonics wore in the 1999 season. I'll post a picture here of that jersey so you can see the colors. The colors were mainly red and some green on the inside, and the jersey had the same colors. Other details on this shoe includes, right, the number 40, which was Shawn Kemp's number at the time with the Sonics, and a rain cloud symbol, right? Because Shawn Kemp was known as the Rain Man back when he was playing in the NBA. Okay, up next we have the Reebok Insta Pump Yin and Yangs. The Insta Pump series is a newer model for the exercising and running crowd. It has the Reebok pump technology, as you can see at the top here, right? I talked about before, and a very comfortable also at the bottom here, right? Made especially for exercising and running. These shoes have amazing ventilation, as you can see from the cutouts all around the upper here, right? Yeah, they really let all the heat and all the sweat out of the shoe when you're doing exercises. And on the bottom, right, you can see there's a carbon fiber here, so it makes the shoe very, very light when you're wearing them. And the design of these shoes are very unique. It's called the yin and yangs because it's got the yin and yang illustration on the two shoes, right? The black one symbolizes yin, and the white one symbolizes yang. And the illustration you can see on the upper of the shoes is very detailed, very, very detailed when it comes to their design. Now, sticking to the Insta Pump collection, right? I have a second pair that is also Insta Pump with a collaboration between Reebok and Adidas, using both the pump and the boost technologies. It's very similar to the last pair except for the bottom and also here, right? This one has the boost also instead of the original because it's a collaboration with Adidas, and it makes the shoe significantly more comfortable when you're wearing them. I always wear these to exercise and go out to take a walk, right? Because it's so soft. It feels like you're walking on cloud. And the pump itself, right, it inflates the upper as well, so it actually holds your feet in place. Very, very comfortable shoe. If you don't have a pair, I highly recommend this pair. Now, last but not least, the final pair of shoes I'm going to show you are these Reebok Billionaire Boys Club Ice Creams. I actually just got these shoes a couple days ago, so I'll go through them with you as well. So first, I'll show you guys the box the shoe came in, because it's a very unique box, right? You can see right here. It looks like a classic ice cream container from the 60s and 70s, and it's got very flashy designs all around it, especially on the front of the box. Billionaire Boys Club is a designer label created by artist and singer Pharrell, right? And this is a collaboration with their ice cream line. And this box is very unique. You can see the ice cream on the front with diamonds and dollar signs, right? And all around it, you see like different designs for ice cream, money, and different kind of diamonds and stuff like that. It's very unique. Now, let's take a look at these shoes, right? The pinkish also, and the crispy white upper with diamonds, dollar sign designs all over it, right? You can see right here. It's a very unique design. And as well, you can see the ice cream logo on the heel here, right? This is the logo that BBC uses with their ice cream line. Yeah, this shoe is both unique and pretty simple, right? There's not much except for the white upper and the pink also, right? And little designs on the upper, but it's not too complicated. So it's very clean shoe. And another thing that came with the box is this, shoe horn, right? Yeah, it looks like an ice cream scooper. Very interesting, but it's a shoe horn. So the whole thing has the ice cream theme to it. Alright, so today we talked about all things Reebok, from its history to its acquisition by Adidas, from the NBA contracts and NFL contracts to its fitness focus nowadays. And I showed you guys all of my Reebok collection I have here with me in China, and from the very iconic sneakers to the newer models, right, to the BBC model, Very interesting, very wide variety of shoes. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel and clicking that like button. It really provides support for me and helps me make videos. And if you have any favorite Reebok sneakers, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you guys. Alright, until next time, guys. Peace out.